Before we begin our podcast, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land we're recording on. For Cass, it's the Borragagal people, and for Hailey, it's the Dharawal people.
All right, let's do this. Okay, everybody, welcome to episode 13 of Drag Me Out. I'm Cass.
I'm Hailey.
And you're just going to listen to us talk shit for 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
How's your week?
Really fucking productive. You know, you just have like a really good productive week where you just nail your lists. I have lists. I'm that type of person. I have lists. I was just checking it off. I was like, yeah, look at me go. Just, you know, first week back, like physically at work, like the first. So it was rough, especially because I had to be home. I had to be in bed at like 7:30 to get enough sleep to be up at 5. So I was like putting the kids to bed early without them realizing. They're like, oh, it's too early. I'm like, no, it's not. This is normal bedtime. It's just daylight savings. Don't worry about it. So that was a bit challenging. Still got enough sleep, but just really productive week. That's all I had to say about it. How was yours?
Fair enough. Mine was office week, a couple of days this week. Got alerted to the fact that we were having the meeting where we found out whether or not we won the awards that we were nominated for.
Oh, did you win?
I did not.
Oh.
And I was okay with that because when they told me, I went, oh, is that today? Goes to show you how much the award really meant to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice and everything. And it was nice to be acknowledged. But at the same time, like, whatever.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some.
That's right. Whatever happens with stuff like that at the end of the day, I'm just going to go back and do my work.
Yeah. And like, I'm a real firm believer in if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And there's going to be a reason as to why you didn't get it. And, side note. So my husband got a new job. I can't remember if I told you that.
No.
And so he got a new job, same position, more money, different club. And ching, ching. I see a psychic who's a friend of mine, and probably it would have been before the surgery I saw her. So it was right before the surgery. And I was looking for something in my phone and I stumbled across the recording that I had of the session. And I've like, what is this? And I sort of scrolled through to like, say 3/4 of the way to listen to what it was. And she's like, oh, I'm hearing about your husband and his job. And I'm hearing 18 months. And I go, hold on a second. Sent my husband a message. And I'm like, how long have you been at your current work? And he goes, 18 months. I'm like, spooky. Spooky. I was like, how weird is it that one, I fast forwarded it to that exact moment that we were talking about him. Right. And two, it's like 18 months on the dot. Like it's that he's moving to this new job. So see, it was meant to happen. It's meant to happen.
I went to a psychic once. She was fucking useless.
No, so the psychic that I see, her name is Katrina Kavanagh, and she lives locally, and she's actually a friend of my mum's. She put me on to her, and she's actually a psychologist, and I've seen her twice. And the first time, because I was having real vibes of my grandfather being around a lot. Like I would get really sad because I don't know, I could just feel him. Yep. Especially when I'm with the boys, like he seems to want to hang out with the boys a lot. And when I went and saw her the first time, she was like, oh, he's saying something about pancakes. And I'm like, oh my God, I offered my son pancakes this morning. My son asked me for pancakes this morning and I didn't have the ingredients, so I couldn't make them. And I'm like, oh God, that's creepy that she can do that. And he was telling me, like he told her like what I'm doing for a job and all this other stuff that there's no way that she could have known at all. And then the second time I saw her, it was right before the surgery. So I was just going to ask her. I was just asking, like, you know, how's the surgery going to go? And she's like, no, everything will be fine. You'll be really happy with it. So far, she's not wrong. and we were mostly talking about my husband at the time, my husband now, about his work and what he should do, and he was going for like a promotion sort of, and she's like, I'm not seeing a no, but I'm seeing sort of like a cross, and it's like she's like, I'm seeing a cross and then the cross stops this way, so she's like, it's not a no but it's not a yes, and which is exactly what he got in when he got turned down for the job, but they didn't hire anyone for the job, and thank God he didn't get the job because it would have been a nightmare logistically. But yeah, so she's very good, and maybe next season we can actually have her on because she's very interesting. Anyway,
Yeah.
Day Greg.
Yeah.
This week's food update. Have you tried anything new?
I have not.
Huh.
I have not. I have kind of been playing it safe all week
Mhm.
because I had that week and a half-ish where I wasn't really, where my stomach was just blah.
Yeah.
So I've been playing it very, very safe. I've been living vicariously through cooking on YouTube's and cooking shows and things because if I can't eat it, I might as well watch somebody else eat it.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah. But I got into a conversation at work the other day about all of the things that I miss that I can't have. And that just went down into a depressive rabbit hole. Because I was like, so what can you have? And I started listing some stuff and they're like, what can't you have that you really want? And you know what the first thing that popped into my mind was battered salve.
Oh, see, I'm not a fan. I wasn't a fan of that prior.
Chico roll.
You could probably have a Chico roll.
It's deep fried.
You can still have it, just have a little bit. I just like the end bits.
I do
Or
too.
you can actually just buy them and not deep fry it and just cook it in the air fryer.
True story. That would actually probably be a little bit better, and I could share it with my missus because
Yeah.
like it's just that cabbage and barley and stuff in it.
I thought it was just corn.
No, it's cabbage and barley.
Oh, maybe I just no. Okay, I'm thinking of corn fritters. Never mind.
Uh-huh.
Delicious.
So the battered salve, the old Chico roll, 6 scallops for $1. It was basically a fish takeaway shop menu.
I think that I miss the most is probably burgers. Like just having just a big juicy burger.
I mean, I tried it last week.
Yeah.
And I did okay, but I actually miss a takeaway shop burger.
Yes. Yes.
Like the takeaway shop hamburger with the shredded lettuce and the cooked onion and the roll, the beef and the roll and the beetroot.
See, I'm not a fan of beetroot. I'm such a picky eater for someone who is fat. I don't get it.
Yeah, I was the same though.
Yeah.
And the cheese. I want that kind of a burger.
Yeah. I think I just want the convenience of it though.
I think so too.
Like now going to a restaurant, you got to sort of look at what's on the menu
before you even leave the house.
Yeah. And I think that's what I miss the most, but it's sort of with inflation has sort of stopped us from, because when we get takeaway now, I don't eat the takeaway, so it's relatively cheap.
Yeah. But see, the thing is now we've got the great potato shortage happening.
Oh, lucky I didn't put any potatoes in my meal plan this week.
But this is going to be going on to Christmas because of all the flooding and everything, especially in places like Tasmania where I'm going. It's a good thing that I don't really do the potatoes anymore because that would kill me, not being able to have potatoes.
I just did our shop at Aldi. But we're set for the week. And if we have to remove potatoes from our diet, then that's fine.
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
So I missed the burger. The 6 scallops for $1, or I think it's like 6 scallops for $3 now. They've gone up.
Inflation.
Scallops, potato cakes, whatever you want to call them. See, they're going to be gone from the takeaway shops too.
Mm-hmm.
And so is the hot chippies. Like there was nothing better than fish and chip shop hot chippies, the thick ones that were kind of, because I like my hot chippies soggy, but I like them even more soggy with vinegar on them.
Yeah, I kind of got into that. Someone put me onto the vinegar, but I'm always a chicken salt. Oh, I love my chicken salt.
Mhm.
I am back on chicken.
Oh, well done. Welcome back.
Particularly, I've just been getting the roast chickens from Woolies and just breaking it up. I'm not super into the wings and the drumsticks. I just want the breast part of it, really.
Same.
So I've just been having that, and I bought a little Asian salad from Aldi today. It has the crunchy noodles and the dressing. I think it's just hoisin sauce. I have a feeling it's just hoisin sauce, the dressing.
Mhm.
Delicious. That's what I had. I just broke up some chicken in it. I still have my steak with wash your sister sauce, and yeah, there's nothing really new. I did have a choc chip muffin, but it was only a little one. Didn't have any adverse effects. I've just been having little
Oh, I just remembered.
Yes.
I had some Jen and Berries ice cream. We call it Jen and Berries in our house.
Yeah.
I had some Jen and Berries, and I'd never actually tried this one in particular. Like, I've tried Ben and Jerry's, obviously, and their banana one, the Monkey Magic or whatever it's called. Fuck, I love it.
I'm not an
But
ice cream person.
well, this is only like the equivalent of like maybe one scoop,
Mm.
and I had the fish food one. I had like a little bit of marshmallow and caramel and chocolate bits in it, and it was nice. It was really good, and it kind of settled me down a little bit because I've been feeling very warm this week, so
Yeah.
it cooled me down. It brought down the temperature of me and the room.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was probably the only new thing that I've eaten. But
Okay.
we had ice cream when we went to Melbourne, but it's not the same. It's not Jen and Berries.
No.
No, I can't remember the name of the banana one. Chunky Monkey. It's called Chunky Monkey.
Okay.
It's the best. It's the best one there. It's so good.
Yeah. No,
Love it.
fan.
You don't have to be. It's more for me.
Yeah.
Even though I can't eat a lot of it, it's more for me.
I was more of a gelato person anyway.
Ugh.
The whole. Oh no, sorry, sorbet. Sorry, I was more because I don't really do dairy.
Sorbet, slightly frozen orange juice.
Or as the French call it, sorbet.
Sorbet. Sorbet.
I have been taking my vitamins.
Well done to you.
I literally just took them about 10 minutes ago because I've forgotten that I didn't take them today. And I have been adding protein and collagen into my morning coffee, and it has seemed to have stopped the hair loss. So I've had that for about 2 weeks now, I think. And it seemed to every time I brush my hair, it doesn't look like someone's just ripped out chunks and tried to make a wig.
That's good. See, I told you, the collagen.
Actually, I want to go first with bursting my pancreas because I found something and I had something else. And then I was watching the project. Shush. And I was watching the project, and it really, I thought all my internal organs were going to come out my butthole. Just how mad it made me.
Do it.
So, because I love drag queens and the homosexuals in general, I am sick to death of people assuming that if you're a drag queen, you are grooming children.
We touched on this with the Fabulous Wonder Mama.
We did, but it came up today. Well, not today, but it came up this week in Parliament. In Parliament, where Courtney Act was on Play School reading a children's book.
Which is fine.
They brought it up in Parliament with a photo of her saying and asking the question, why are we grooming our children? This
in Parliament.
In Parliament, the ABC spokesperson or whatever, one of them, I think it was the female one that shut them down, was like, no. And even I looked up the definition of grooming. This is the definition of grooming. Grooming is when someone builds a relationship, trust, and emotional connection with a child or young person so they can manipulate, exploit, and abuse them. Children and young people who are groomed can be sexually abused, exploited, or trafficked. That is the definition of grooming. At what point is a drag queen reading a story to children grooming?
Well, it's not, because what difference does it make between a drag queen and a cisgender person?
Not even that. Like a man reading a story to children.
Exactly.
Why And it happens, and I get it. I don't get it, but it happens that they associate why homosexuals or, whoever wants
Right.
to dress up in
Yeah.
drag is because they want to get close to children. Why is that association there? It just does not even make sense. What, because they're dressing up as Miss Doubtfire and Miss Doubtfire was a nanny?
And a beloved movie that no one ever says anything about
No,
in the negative. Not at all.
no,
Because they just go, oh, it's just a father who wants to be near his children.
exactly.
Well, you know, this is somebody who we're talking about a drag queen who's trying to break down these stereotypical fucking bullshit barriers where homophobic, transphobic, all of these other people think that the life that they live and that I live is wrong. And
Just
all we want to do is show everybody that we are just like everybody else. That's all we are. We're not grooming anybody. We're not doing anything like that. We are showing people that it doesn't matter your size, your weight, your gender, your orientation, or anything like that. We are all the same people. I guarantee you, these fuckwits in Parliament who are saying all of this bullshit don't bother to ask if they're in a serious car accident and they need a blood transfusion who the fucking blood came from. They don't give two shits. They don't give a shit when it comes to something like an innocent thing of a drag queen reading a fucking story to a fucking kid.
it's
You
so
burst my
stupid.
pancreas.
I know.
I'm not even going to bother with my fucking pancreas. We're on this now because this is fucking bullshit. And what makes it even worse is the fact that it was done in Parliament because the ABC is a government-owned entity. This is legalized homophobia.
Mhm.
It is ridiculous and it is wrong. And anybody who supports the fact that a drag queen is grooming a child, fucking come at me and fucking tell me to my face, because I guarantee you there'll be two hits, mate. Me hitting you and you hitting the floor. It's as simple as that. Like, there is nothing wrong with me and there is nothing wrong with you. And when a woman puts on makeup in the morning, she's putting on drag. When a man, a cis heterosexual man goes on television and they fluff him up a little bit with a little bit of foundation so he's not so shiny, guess what? He's putting on drag. All of these people, you and me, we are all putting on drag. Anytime we put this stitch of clothing on us, we are putting on drag. We are all the same. It doesn't matter the orientation, because if this person, if Courtney Act was just a homosexual male reading to the children, I bet this would not have happened. They would have went, oh, okay, we're all kumbaya and we're trying to get it done.
Because
Right. And we're trying to make sure
I'm pretty sure there was lesbians on Play School, and there was a whole
they
huge
were.
kerfuffle about that too.
If you want a blood transfusion because you're having emergency surgery, I can guarantee you while you're going under the knife, you're not asking who that blood came from. You're not. When you're driving on our roads, you don't ask, did the gay people pay taxes or did the drag queens pay taxes or anything like that? You don't do that. You just drive on the fucking road, because at the end of the day, you are no different than me and I am no different than you.
My whole thing is if I'm at Subway and the guy in front of me orders something different, and I'm going to get fucking mad at him because he's
Right.
not ordering the same, who gives a fuck what other people want to do? My issue is stop associating drag queens with grooming. They are two
Absolutely.
separate things. It infuriates me.
Nobody said anything about John Travolta in Hairspray dressing
No.
up in drag and, you know, and having a sing song and all and whatever. And, you know, it's basically a family movie and all of that. No one says anything about that. Why? Because the person who is actually dressing up in drag, John Travolta,
Mhm.
is quote unquote heterosexual. So there mustn't be anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with Robin Williams dressing up as Mrs. Doubtfire because he's heterosexual. I say this to a lot of anybody who comes at me for my gayness or whatever it is. You want to start pointing the morality compass at people, because I don't care what you do behind a bedroom door, but you give a shit about what I do behind a bedroom door. If you're thinking about my sexual activity, there is something wrong with you, buddy. And this goes to all of those fucking people in Parliament who just want to associate drag with bad people, because everybody knows that the vast majority of kitty fiddlers are heterosexual males. who are grooming on the internet, and they are grooming when they meet them, when they're famous, and these kids are their fans and all of that. It's not Courtney Act, and it's not Nina West, and it's not Mrs. Kasha Davis, and it's not all of these people who are just trying to include children, especially children who feel different about themselves. They're trying to include them into the family, into any kind of a family, into a global family or whatever it is. Like, fuck you, Australian Parliament. You.
I was just like watching it. My mouth was like open. I was just like, I can't believe that these people who are supposed to be educated to be in politics
You
are
don't need a university
so.
degree to be a politician.
No, you
They're not
don't.
educated. Fucking
They're
Pauline Hanson. That fucking dirty scrag. Oh, this has made me so mad.
So yeah, I did have something else, but that this week really irritated me because I was listening to Brenda Call Me.
Yep.
I've started that podcast now. Started it
Oh, finally.
from the beginning. Well, I don't have much time, but now that I've got a little bit more time, I can
fair
now
enough.
listen to podcasts. Yeah, she mentioned that she was on Play School. And then, yeah, the next couple days, I saw that on the project, and I was just like, what the?
But see, the thing is, I mean, even Courtney Act knew, because I read it somewhere about 2 weeks ago. Even Courtney Act knew that this could possibly spark controversy.
Oh, 100%. And even the drag queens, like she's not this is the one that's been sort of televised, I believe, but there's drag queens all over the country that go to libraries and read to kids and they get
Look at the
backlash.
fabulous Wonder Mama.
Exactly. She wasn't even near a kid. They still called her that she was grooming. What is wrong
She was
with
just
you
on
people?
a kid's show. Exactly. But Nina West went through something very similar, because Nina West has a book out and she used to read to kids, and she went through something similar as well. And Mrs. Kasha Davis, when pandemic really hit, was doing it via Zoom or whatever it was, and was reading kids' stories once a week. And the same thing happened. The same thing happened. It's just, it's not right. Like, these people, they're entertainers. They're artists.
And the
They're not
ones that I feel
grooming.
sorry for is the kids.
Yeah.
Because if my son turned around and said, you know, I wanna dress up as a lady, I'm like, go for it. You
Yeah.
be you. Do what you need to do. And some kids don't have that, don't have someone in their life that would be like, I will support you no matter what, because they're hiding behind their religion or beliefs or fucking fuck off, whatever. They're hiding behind that, and that's why they can't love you or love what you do. And I feel sorry for that kid that would be able to relate to Courtney being like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And then they go ahead and give her this name of grooming children, and they immediately associate that with something bad.
It sits there and makes you think, as far advanced as we have become since the Marriage Equality Act came in 2017, we're still so far behind. Like, we saw it this week with the US elections. We saw, we see it whenever there's homophobic comments. I don't go out to hurt people. I don't want to hurt people. Why do people want to hurt me? Why do people want to hurt my chosen family? Why do they want to be like that? Why do people want to go out and intentionally hurt innocent people who are just trying to spread tolerance and acceptance, which is what it is? And they're showing, that little 4 or 5-year-old boy or girl who can't, or 6 or 7-year-old, or however old, who they see their friends at school, and I did it when I was at school too. Have the pretend weddings on the in the quad at lunch and recess and all of that, and that poor little kid's off to the side going, "Why does this is not for me? Why?"
Yeah.
They turn on Play School, which when I was going to infant school, every Tuesday morning we would pack into a classroom and we would watch Play School.
Yeah.
And There's nothing wrong with it. It's a man, or depends on the pronouns, but
Yeah.
it's somebody who is dressing up with lovely clothing on and lovely makeup, and all they're doing is reading from a book. They're not reading from a Bible. They're
Which
just reading from a book.
men have done since the start of time. Who
Exactly.
they have worn dresses. Women weren't allowed in theater, so the men did the women parts. That's drag. That's where it came from.
Shakespeare dressed as a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like what people don't seem to realize is that men used to wear makeup and wigs. You know where they're saying
Not that long ago.
where they're saying big wig came from? Like if you call someone a big wig,
Mm.
is because if you were a big wig, you had a great wig. Why? Because you were rich, but you had syphilis, so you would lose your hair. That's actually where it came from. So
Yeah.
the bigger the wig, the more money you had. But generally, by the age of 21, 22, you were going bald because you had syphilis. True story. So anyway, that's what was bursting my pancreas this week.
It just burst mine.
And
I'm not even
yeah,
bothering.
okay.
I'm not even bothering with mine, because this has just made me absolutely ropeable. And what makes it, I guarantee they're those little shitty parties that get voted in the Senate and stuff. The shooting fucking party and all that bullshit. Because one of our greatest politicians currently, Penny Wong, is gay.
Mm-hmm.
Those little things where they bring up that you just, it's like a little pain in the heart going, I'm still not equal. We're still not
Like,
equal.
I'm not one to try and be offended for anyone.
Mm.
Like, I don't like the people that are like, well, if I have a problem with it, you should have a problem with it. But when something is happening or being said like that, that is so wrong, I can't help but say how I feel about it. And I don't put myself in their shoes because I'm not a drag queen. I can't relate. I haven't been called a child groomer. But I imagine if I was to be called that, it would be heartbreaking, I think.
Mm. Yeah. And most drag queens don't give two shits about kids anyway. They're an inconvenience and they get in the way, and they can't be, their normal selves when
Well, Courtney
drag
was
queens
saying
around.
in Brenda Call Me, she was saying, I had a small glimmer of wanting kids when I did this segment on Play School, and that disappeared real quick.
Yeah. It goes into, I was telling somebody this the other week, and I might as well tell you.
Mhm.
So my local pool, which is closing down for renovations. My membership's been cancelled on the 18th. So I have to go to the place across the road. We were talking, and I actually got on really well with one of the lifeguards that's there. He's pretty cool. So I finish my swim, and I shower and get ready for work at the pool. But I always go into the handicap toilets. And I know that I'm not supposed to, but there's a reason. And as soon as I told the lifeguard this, he was like, completely understand. Because he was walking out with me, and I started walking in, and he goes, that's the handicap toilet. And I said to him, I said, mate. And he goes, yeah. And I said, I'm gay. And he went, yep. And I said, and it's obvious that I'm gay. And he went, yeah. And I said, the last thing I need, considering that there are netball courts and all of that are, gym places, and obviously with the netball courts, there are young kids there.
Mhm.
Sometimes they train in the morning, and or the school kids basketball come in and train, and then they get changed for school.
Mhm.
And I said to him, I said, the last place that I want to be found is in a women's change room with young girls who can clearly see that I'm gay. And if one of them's homophobic, I'm at the cop shop. Like, I don't. So it's easier for me to just go into there's two handicap toilets there, showers there. There's not one, there's two.
Mhm. And
There's
also, you don't, even if, you know, even if it was just a bad experience, even if you just went in there and you got some looks, you don't want to associate the place that you enjoy going to to be a shitty place? Because I guarantee you that you would have gone somewhere and had a shitty experience, and then when you went there the second time, you're like, oh, like I had a shit time there last time. Like,
Do you know how uncomfortable it is to go to a department store to buy a bra
mm,
when you look like this? You get strange looks, comments. What's that pervert doing in here? Yeah. And I've literally turned around and I'm going, I'm getting a bra for my fucking tits. What does it look like I'm doing here? And maybe it's a misunderstanding because sometimes people associate overweight people with just being male for some reason. I don't know. And I'm not that androgynous looking. I don't ever want to be accused of anything.
no, and that's it sucks.
But at the same, exactly, because at the
That's
same
what
time,
you have to think
I
about.
shouldn't have to think that way.
Yeah.
But that's what happens because people think that homosexual people are an abomination. And you know what? We probably are, but no more than you. And no more than people who have children out of wedlock. These are the struggles. I remember saying something once to someone. He noticed that my wife and I, we hold hands, but not all the time. And I said, when we're out in public, and I said to him, I said, sometimes you have to pick where you do it. There are particular suburbs where you can't be seen holding your wife as much as you would love to. You can't be seen doing it because you know what? You may end up around the corner with like 5 dudes who want to show you what it's like to have a real man.
Mm.
And I know we're getting really, really serious, but these are the things that happen. And this is, people who don't understand. I'm trying to put it into the simplest terms for you. I can't hold my wife's hand in some public places. And sometimes you get caught unawares because you think everything's okay. You hold your wife's hand and people will be walking past going, fucking lezzos. Or someone will be tooting the horn or whatever it is. It's the simple things that people take for granted, which are the things that they mean so much to us because we can't take them for granted.
Yeah.
And a drag queen reading a book on TV is not grooming. So sorry, Courtney Act, that you have to go through this kind of shit. And I understand that when you put yourself out there in public like that, it can be polarizing. I wonder if anybody would question if Dame Edna Everidge was doing it. Let's just say it wasn't Courtney Act and it was Dame Edna.
Mm.
No one would have thought anything of it. Why? Because the person who is dressing up as Dame Edna could be heterosexual, could not be heterosexual. Most people think that he is heterosexual, then therefore they don't believe that there's anything wrong with it. A lot of people thought that Rolf Harris was a good guy, and look what happened.
Gross.
He was grooming kids and stuff, and he was singing like songs that appealed to children. He was actually grooming. And he wasn't doing it with a wig and makeup or anything like that. He was doing it out in the open. But because everybody loved him, obviously some people didn't know and some people didn't understand what was going on. But they didn't think there was anything wrong with him. And Courtney Act is just, I'm not sure if Courtney Act is non-binary. I can't remember.
I do know this because I was listening to a podcast. I believe she just identifies as queer.
Okay. So it's just a queer person in a wig wearing some girl clothes and some makeup reading a book. Well, if I was on Play School, because I'm a jeans and t-shirt girl and a pair of runners. So if I go on there without makeup and I go in there with my jeans, t-shirt and runners and I start reading a book on national television, am I grooming? No. So it's no different. Fuck you, Australian Parliament. We need to find out who these people are and make sure that they don't get voted in. But they were like that One Nation or Clive Palmer party.
I can't remember. I'll find the clip. All right. We need to move on.
Yeah.
So we've got so busy D. So do you want to go first with the review or do you want me to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
So you got me to review the movie Paul.
Yes.
Paul with Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and a pleasant cast. Very pleasant cast. So the premise is that two geeky types go to the San Diego Comic-Con.
Mhm.
Inappropriate actor Jeffrey Tambor made me laugh when they meet that because he's the famous author.
Mm-hmm.
And then they leave, and then they take their version of the selfie where he's like 25 million feet behind them. And then the next couple come up and go, "Can we have your autograph?" And he goes, "Did you buy the book?" And they go, "No." He goes, "Fuck off." So they're on their big trip to the US where they go to San Diego Comic-Con, and then they're going to go RVing through the United States. And what happens is they come across an alien by the name of Paul. Now, the beginning of the movie shows a spaceship crashing on a dog named Paul. So that's how the alien got the name, and that's a little bit of a laughy bit. They get Paul, who is voiced by Seth Rogen, pick the voice straight away.
Mm-hmm.
Soon as Paul opened his mouth, I went, "Seth Rogen." I actually don't mind some of the movies that he's in, but I actually don't like him because he always sounds like he needs a good cough.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but I'll still watch his movies. It's very confusing.
Right? But he always sounds like he needs a good cough. Get that little phlegmy crap from the back of his neck. It's probably from smoking all that pot.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the men in black just happens to be Jason Bateman, who I love. And he is answerable to the big guy whose voice I picked straight away. As soon as she spoke, I went, "My God, it's fucking Sigourney Weaver." As soon as I saw Jason Bateman, I was like, okay. And then like Sigourney Weaver, and I went, Jesus Christ, this is like a British movie, and they've got Jason Bateman and Sigourney Weaver. So one of the other surprises was when they go to the bar or the takeaway shop in the alien place, and the bartender is Jane Lynch. Paul is taking them somewhere that he needs to go because he's basically kidnapped them. They end up in an RV park. Simon Pegg's character falls in love with the young girl who's working there, who's played by Kristen fucking Wiig. And so she's the daughter of a God-bothering evangelical arsewick of a father. So they're basically on the run. And so she takes off with them. Paul has healing power. Oh, the healing power when the bird hits the windscreen and dies, and Paul brings it back to life only to eat it because he doesn't like to eat dead bird. That made me laugh. They're being chased. There's a couple of other government agents. One of them is Bill Hader. Jason Bateman is in constant pursuit of them. Paul has been on Earth for 60 years, and he's basically trying to get back to where he has to go to get the space trip off to home. They stop in a town, and they're in a comic book shop, and Paul pretends to be a statue in the comic book shop when one of the stupid secret agent type people walk in, and then the secret agent starts touching him and then grabs him in the crotch, and he's like, "Get off my dick," or whatever it is. They're being chased, and then they end up going to the house of the girl from the beginning of the movie where the dog died. So we're talking like 60 years down the track, and they knock on the door, and somebody eventually opens the door, and it's Blythe Danner, Gwyneth Paltrow's mother.
Okay.
So they park the RV a little bit further away, and then like the next bit, I realized probably why they did it. They park the RV away, and so the agents find out that they're there. Blythe Danner's going to make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or whatever it is, and puts the stove on. And so when they realize that the men in black are there, they run and go to leave. And one of the agents tries to shoot them, but the gas is still on. So when he shoots it, the whole house blows up. So it's just as well the RV isn't there. Jason Bateman is still in pursuit. He's coming off as this cold-hearted arsehole who just wants to kill the alien. That's what he comes off as. And then they finally get to where they need to go for the mothership to come down to get him. And then you actually find out that Jason Bateman is a friend of Paul, and he introduced him to his wife. So Sigourney Weaver's character is like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. So she gets out of the helicopter, tries to shoot people. Their dad, who has also been in pursuit the whole time, to try and get his daughter back, actually shoots Simon Pegg's character. Paul puts the healing hands on, reach out for those healing hands. Puts the healing hands on Paul, on his character, Clive. Graham's character. And he brings him back to life. Him and Kristen Wiig have a little bit of a kissy poo because that's everything. Sigourney Weaver's like, nice try, fellas, but I'm still going to shoot you. And then as she goes to shoot, the stairs from the spaceship aircraft crusher. So Paul's like, I've got to go now. It's been great. I love you all. I'll miss you. Didn't say that, but that's the sentiment. But as he walks past Blythe Danner and he turns around and she says something to him, I can't remember what it is. And he goes, no, you're coming with me. I took away your life. Now I'm going to give you a new one. So he gets in and the spaceship takes off and everyone lives happily ever after. And then you find out that Simon Pegg and Nick Frost's characters because one was a writer and one was an artist. And then they go to San Diego Comic-Con 2 years later. And you find out that they've written this really great book called Paul.
Oh.
I'm going to give you my rating now.
Okay.
I'm giving it 5 slices of toast. I fucking loved it. It was such a good movie. Because you know what? There was nothing really anything untoward. The running joke of them being a gay couple through the thing made me chuckle a bit. There was an FAG word, which I wasn't really, but it was 2011. It was before cancel culture. As much as you would like to cancel somebody for doing that, those words were accepted way back when. And there, you can't pick everybody and get rid of them for things like that because otherwise we'd have no movies to watch from the past.
Yeah.
But I really, really loved it. The cast was great. Simon Pegg and Nick Frost together are fantastic. Plain and simple. Sigourney Weaver was good. Jason Bateman was good. Blythe Danner was good. Jeffrey Tambor, even though he's actually an arsehole in real life, like he had another little bit at the end. Jane Lynch came back and was trying to hit on Kristen Wiig's character while they were at San Diego Comic-Con. 5 slices of toast. I thought it was very good. I have every intention of watching it again. I'm actually going to recommend it to people. It was so good.
It's good.
Yeah. So I got you to watch Working Girl.
Yes. Working Girl, 1988.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that pops up is obviously the cast. They do that like generally in older movies, like where they pop the cast up at the front as they're spanning over the landscape of wherever they're filming at. Mm-hmm. Harrison Ford, Sigourney Weaver again, John Cusack, Melanie Griffith, Alec Baldwin, and Kevin Spacey. All great cast. I was invested at the start. Mm-hmm. The other thing I could say is the hair. At what point did we ever think that hair was okay? I don't understand.
In the 80s.
So premise is she works as a secretary in the stock market. I want to say something to do with banking.
Yep.
Her name's Tessie. Melanie Griffith's character's name is Tessie, and she wants to be taken seriously, but she's so soft-spoken. She does not raise her voice. So her boss sets her up for a job but it's just a guy who wants to bang, which is Kevin Spacey's character. He's in it for about 2 minutes.
Thank God.
She puts on the screen that her boss is a sleazoid pimp with a tiny D, and she gets transferred to the great Sigourney Weaver's office of Catherine Parker. She starts working for Catherine. Catherine's like, it's you and me. It's girls. We've got to support each other. Woohoo. And then she comes home. Her boyfriend's cheating on her. She finds out that she finds out that Catherine stole her idea. Oh, sorry. I missed a point. So Sigourney Weaver, or Catherine, breaks her leg in Aspen or whatever. So she's going to be held up there. Germany. Okay.
Skiing. Yeah.
So Tessa has to take over. And that's when she finds out that Catherine took her idea. Anyway, So then she meets the dreamy Harrison Ford, who I picked to be Catherine's partner before it was revealed. I already picked that. So when Catherine gets back, turns out she wasn't trying to steal her idea, sort of, not really. And he was going to break up with Catherine anyway. Tessie doesn't tell him she was Catherine's assistant. They say, I love you very fast. It was very fast. They have a board meeting as Catherine works it out that, Tessie stole her boyfriend and her job and blah, 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 blah. And then all the whole truth comes out and she's like, it was my idea, not Tessa's. And Tess has to prove that it was her idea, which she does. And then they offer her a job and then she gets her own little corner office. And that's when the famous line of, I only want you to get me coffee when you're getting yourself coffee came from. I liked, what was it? I have a head for business and a bod for sin. Like, what? Like, weren't you supposed to be taking seriously? Anyway, whatever. Liked the movie. I was invested. And don't have much more to say about it. It didn't have like many little one-liners. I didn't really feel. I just liked the story.
Joan Cusack's when she's trying to tell her to stop pretending to be something that she's not. When she says to her, she goes, "Just because I dance around in my underwear in my living room doesn't make me Madonna. Never has."
Don't remember that part.
Yeah.
Basically, I rated this movie about 10 minutes in and I gave it 4 toasts and I stuck with that. So I actually really liked it. I think the hair lost a toast, but other than that, I actually really liked it. So yeah, that's pretty much my little spiel on that one.
It's still a good movie. It holds up.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
It annoyed me that she was very soft-spoken. Like even when she got the job, she was still soft-spoken.
She's like that. She's like that.
Yeah, I know. And I think that's what annoys me. But anyway, what have you got for me next week?
I have the 1980 sci-fi roller skating classic that is Xanadu.
I knew this day was coming.
Xanadu. Rest in peace, Olivia Newton-John.
Oh yeah, I forgot she died.
Gone too soon, girl.
Well, my movie for you is the I don't even know when it was made. Old School with Will Ferrell and other people in it too that I don't remember.
Old School.
Oldie
Okay.
School.
Okay.
And that brings us to ding ding, subject change, RuPaul's Drag Race UK.
The drag part of the pageant.
The acting challenges, I kind of feel like I don't want to watch them. I don't know. They're just not my thing on RuPaul's and they're not my segment. I don't like it. I like it when they incorporate celebrities, like when they had Fortune.
Yeah, and Cheyenne Jackson.
Yeah, that was hilarious. But yeah, this one, I couldn't even remember who played what or what it was about.
It was basically Squid Games meets Big Brother. Because Cheddar won last week.
Yeah.
She got to assign the roles.
Correct, yes.
Yes. Some of it was funny-ish. Some of it not so much. I'm going to say this. I don't think anyone did an overly bad job. At all. I don't think that I'm even giving it to Black Pepper. Like, it wasn't like it was overly bad. It wasn't great.
Well, did you watch last week's episode for Quality Assurance?
I did.
Did I call them bottom 2? I can't remember.
I think you did.
I think I did. Because we're still with our top 3 at the moment, which we were still in top 5 because nobody went home.
Nobody went home, double save, and I called it. My wife and I were watching it.
So did I.
And I said to her, you know what gave it away? When they both did the move during the lip sync at the same time and the camera angles changed and they really went in on it. And I turned around to my missus and I went, double save. You can just pick it.
I picked double save because, and I don't think it should be, because you know what? I fucking hate in lip syncs when someone walks in front of the other person and stands there. I don't care if you want to use the stage. That's fine. You can move around the stage, but don't deliberately stand in front of the other drag queen. Same with stripping. It's in line with that. I feel that it's desperate.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I think Black Pepper should have gone home because it's not a gymnastics challenge. It's a lip syncing challenge. Stop fucking dancing around on the stage.
I actually said to my wife, I'm really getting over all of the acrobatics that are going on in lip syncs now.
Yeah.
And because no one's given us, Queen Kong gave us the side assault, but no one's giving us anything new.
I'm happy with the big moves at the big moments of the songs, but the
just
other
not because
yeah, but
you can.
but the whole part of a lip sync is to engage with the song and dance to the theme of the song. I
Mhm.
feel like I'm
Yep.
happy with your death drops, when the song really hits that, meaty
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
But like, I just feel that you're dancing because you can't lip sync as well. It's like if they were doing the head, shoulders, knees, and toes, but they were still somersaulting. Like I want to see you do head, shoulders, knees, and toes, and I want to see you lip sync to it really well. Like I want to see
Yeah.
that you know what the song's about.
Yeah. It's like, what was it, All Star 7, when Raja and Jinx were lip syncing against
Mhm.
each other.
Mhm.
They were just lip syncing and moving to the music. And, I thought it was glorious because they were just lip syncing.
No one
They were showing
stripped.
people that they knew the words to the song and that they were
Mhm.
enjoying themselves.
And no one, stood in front of the other people.
Nope. They
No,
both stood on opposite sides,
yeah,
stayed in their little bit, moved into the middle a little bit, kind of interplayed. I like it when they interplay.
yeah, that's good.
But I don't. You're right. The crossing in front of each other to try and draw the attention of the judges from the other person. I'm sorry, that's a desperate act. You're out the door, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is you're going, they're actually better than me. But if you can't see them
Mm.
and you can only see me, you're going to keep me. And I don't. I don't like that at all. Not
I
at
feel
all.
it's like I'm trying to throw them off sort of thing. Like, and that's not good sportsmanship. Like I don't think that that's what it should be about.
Exactly. So the winner was Cheddar.
Mm-hmm.
3 in a row.
3 in a row.
A friend of mine, Zach, hi Zach, a friend of mine sent me a message going, have you watched it? And I said, yeah. And he said, like, 3 in a row. And I went, yeah, I know, right? And he goes, no one's ever done that before.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. No queen has ever done 3 wins in a row. Like, if we're talking about the All Stars with Shangela and Ben de la Creme,
Mm-hmm.
right? They got into the top 2 3 or 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
But they didn't win every single time,
Yeah.
so it doesn't count. So what happens is when you actually look at the whole thing, Cheddar Gorgeous is the only drag queen, as far as we know, and if you want to correct me, please do so, because, I like to be educated, but Cheddar Gorgeous is the only one that's won 3 main challenges in a row.
And she can do no wrong. She can act, she can lip sync, she can comedy. She can do that runway.
Yeah,
She can
where's her kryptonite? Where is
slay
her
that runway. I
kryptonite?
don't know.
But we agreed, as in Zach and I,
Mhm.
we agreed, and I'm sure you would agree too.
Mhm.
Top 2 are definitely going to be Danny and Cheddar.
Yeah.
It's that third spot. But how is Jomba still there with no repeater badge? How? What is RuPaul doing? If you're not going to do Black Pepper because of the dancing in front of anybody, you go, we've actually seen Jomba's blonde lip sync more than anybody else. Like,
Mhm.
what has she got to offer if she's consistently in the bottom?
I don't
Is
know.
next week going to be a double elimination to get to a top 3?
I don't know.
Something, are they not even going to bother with a lip sync next week? They're just going to get to the end of the episode and RuPaul's going to go, I gave you an extra week, but you weren't really impressed if both of you fuck off out of my studio.
Like, how many chances are they going to get? I don't get it.
How many times John Bez has lip synced about 4 times, 3 or 4 times, and so has Black Pepper.
Yeah.
You can't. There have been drag queens in the US one that have been loved and revered who lip syncs like 3 times, and they're like, they lip sync for the 3rd time, they've got to go. if you're consistently that bad, and we're not talking Spanky Jackson drag bad, if you're consistently that bad, why are you still on a competition show? Because if this was an equestrian event and the horse kept coming in last, guess what? Horse is lame. It's getting
Off
put
to the
behind a
glue
couple of screens.
factory.
Yeah. So how is this any different? Is this to make up for the fact that RuPaul wasn't in last week's episode?
I don't know.
Don't know. I don't get it. So I can't remember what's happening with next week's episode, but it should be good. Like I'm still in.
Yeah. So for our next week's episode, we're actually double filming. So we won't be watching RuPaul's Drag Race UK, but we did watch the first Snatch game that they ever had, which was on the season 2 of RuPaul. So we will be reviewing that one. So if you want to quickly do a review of that for next week's episode, and then you can listen to our critiques of the first ever Snatch game.
So the local drag show is coming up every Wednesday from 7 p.m. Maxi Shield hosts the Big Fact Hunt Trivia Night at the King's Cross Hotel. Notice I don't have to slow down to say that now, because if you actually say it fast, it comes out naughty. We're back at Ginger's at the Oxford every Friday from 9 p.m. Maxi Shield and Jackie Hyde at the Fatty and Skinny Show. Also at Ginger's at the Oxford every Saturday night from 9 p.m. The Triple Ds with Maxi Shield, Coco Jumbo and Jackie Hyde. We've also got Karen from Finance will be at the Factory Marrickville on the 24th of November from 8 p.m. Tickets are available on livenation.com.au. Celebrating their Silver Jubilee, we have Vanity and Maxi Shield at the Maxi Shield features quite a lot. Maxi Shield at the Beresford upstairs, 4th of December. Tickets are available through ITD events. They'll also be at Chase's Nightclub in Melbourne on December 2nd and in Mary Poppins in Adelaide on December 3rd. And we've got a new thing. I found this out the other day and I think I want to go. So for World Pride, Taronga Zoo are having a drag gala. It's end of February.
I mean,
forgot the date. Okay. So for World Pride, Taronga Zoo are having a drag gala with confirmed queens from RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under seasons 1 and 2. So it's Karen from Finance, Kid Amin, my girl, Spanky Jackson, Coco Jumbo, Electra Shock, Hanaconda, Molly Poppins, plus Carla from Bankstown, Hollywood Star, and Space Horse. You can get those tickets on Moshtix. And you can actually you can have a picnic experience where you just kind of sit on a rug, or you can hire a chair, one of the chairs that you see at events that happen in parks, and you can just sit there and you're treated to a nice drag gala. Don't forget Hero Huggers by Rennie. Just in time for Christmas, I actually saw on Rennie's Insta the other day that for a very, very limited time only, you can actually get a percentage discount if you spend $35 or more. And the Hero Huggers by Rennie, the great pillowcases that we have showed in previous episodes. If you're looking for something a little bit different, please don't hesitate to go to Hero Huggers by Rennie on Etsy and get some fantastic pillowcases that you can use as stocking stuffers. As I said, there is a percentage discount. And also, while you're on Etsy, please go to the Fabulous Wonder Mamas page where you can get her books. The ones on Etsy are actually the autographs ones. It's the Fabulous Story of Wonder Mama, It's Okay to Be Me, The Fabulous Story of Wonder Mama, and Parade Pandemonium. Please, these are great presents for kids. And considering the parliamentary antics of our fucking politicians, get these books to prove politicians wrong, that these are not people who are grooming people. They're not grooming children. They're just creating stories and they're creating dialogue. So that's it for our episode today. Don't forget to press like and subscribe on YouTube. We can't shift it from 24. Please hit the like and subscribe button. We'd actually we want to get it to 25.
We want to get it to like
further
25 million
we want to
what
get
we
it to
want.
25 million, but let's be honest, it's probably not going to happen. Like 250 million is probably better.
Yeah, that's better
Right.
actually. Now
Okay.
you've said that. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at DragMeOutOfficial. If you have a question, have a recommendation, you want to have a chat with us, you're a drag queen and you want to reach out so we can have you on the podcast, don't forget to slide into our DMs and we will see you for the next episode. Ta-tas.
Bye.